When Terminator 2 exploded onto the scene, it didn't just open doors for James, it blew them off their hinges. Suddenly, every studio in Hollywood was clamoring to sign it. They dangled offers of creative control, bottomless budgets, and the freedom to chase down any wild idea he had.
I don't care about stuff like that.
Meanwhile, his pal Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a rut after the colossal flop of Last Action Hero.
You think you're funny, don't you?
I know I am. I'm the famous comedian Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Gesundheit.
I remember calling Arnold on the Saturday morning, and I hadn't really read the news. I said, "So, how'd the picture open?" He said, "Terrible." He sounded like he was in bed crying.
I was just putting myself together.
I said, "What are you gonna do?" He says, "I'm just gonna hang out by myself." That's the only time I've ever heard him down.
Arnold needed a comeback, and fast. That's when he stumbled upon La Totale,
a little French movie that no one saw.
Comedy about a spy whose family thinks he's an ordinary clerk.
It was very entertaining and very well done. The concept is just so refreshing. It's so new.
Excited, he showed it to Cameron, who loved the idea of a James Bond-type character who also had to do the dishes at home.
Arnold's bringing me a project that he believes in. He'd never done that before.
Despite the original film's light action, Cameron saw the potential for intense fights and thrilling chases.
He said, "Let's make it big." And I said, "Yeah, let's make it big."
He jumped into writing the script. But there was a hitch. While Cameron's films had humor, it was usually sharp one-liners or quirky characters, not full-blown comedy.
In some ways, True Lies is one of the scariest movies that I've done because tonally, it was a comedy from the beginning, an action comedy.
Stay.
I was very nervous tonally. I wasn't that nervous about how to execute the film because we'd already done complex stuff, but I was very concerned about it stylistically.
And what the hell were you thinking?
Then came a major snag with his Fox deal.
Well, that's it then, right?
A glaring oversight in the Lightstorm contract meant Cameron needed a completion bond, a guarantee the film would finish on time and within budget. The catch? This bond could only be obtained in advanced production stages, when the studio had already spent money on actor fees, sets, costumes, and more.
That's a nice piece.
Essentially, he needed a budget to get a bond, but he needed a bond to secure the budget. This bureaucratic catch-22 spelled the end of the $500 million deal and Cameron's partnership with Lightstorm's manager. Despite the hiccup, Fox was still keen on the project. They renegotiated, transferring international distribution rights to Fox and granting Cameron a staggering $115 million budget. Yet another record for the most expensive film ever made.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Next up was casting. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the biggest action hero of the decade, was a shoo-in for the lead. For the supporting cast, Cameron rounded up some character actors and, of course, his old buddy Bill Paxton.
Hey. My dad was a traveling salesman, came up with a lot of good ideas, and I would use a lot of lines of his. I would just throw them out in a rehearsal, and Jim liked a lot of them.
See, it's not just a car, it's a total image, an identity you have to go for.
He would always bring more. Even if I shot down 9 ideas and used 1, he was happy.
Paxton had a knack for bringing a mix of chaos and charm to any project, like an uninvited guest who somehow makes the party better.
I mean, he played Simon to the hilt. I mean, Simon is a crack-up.
Absolutely.
But the real challenge? Finding the right actors for the protagonist, wife, and sidekick. Cameron needed talent who could improvise and bring their own flair, given his shaky confidence in his own comedic chops.
You know what? I think you're going about this whole thing all wrong.
Enter Tom Arnold, then known more for his stand-up comedy and high-profile marriage and divorce to Roseanne Barr.
Well, by now, you know the romance has gone out of the relationship between Roseanne and Tom Arnold. Roseanne is filing for divorce. Insiders say Tom may have taken up with another woman.
You know what? I say we concentrate on work, buddy. That's what I do every time my life turns to dog shit. I concentrate on work, and that gets me by.
Despite the modest resume and tabloid drama, Cameron was struck by Tom's wit and cast him as Gibb.
Listen, I got 2 words to describe that idea. Insane.
The studio was stunned, but Tom's performance silenced the skeptics. The real casting conundrum was finding the wife. Cameron had Jamie Lee Curtis in mind, having admired her work since Catherine Bigelow's Blue Steel.
Not bad, huh? It just was a great part, and it was perfect for me. It's got everything that I'm good at. It was incredibly physical. It was funny. It was a little sexy. And it was, at its core, a love story. Sort of a domestic epic, really.
It seemed like a no-brainer, but Schwarzenegger wasn't feeling it.
Well, he thought he didn't want Jamie. He said, well, she's too beautiful. Nobody's going to believe her as a housewife. Like, Arnold, leave that to me. So I started looking at every other actress.
Maybe he didn't see her comedic potential, or maybe he felt awkward about playing her love interest after recently directing her dad, Tony Curtis. Cameron spent 3 months auditioning other actresses only to rewatch A Fish Called Wanda.
And she's perfect. I mean, I thought I was going to watch 5 minutes, and I wound up watching the whole damn thing, and she was perfect. I call Arnold, say, come on over. And he sits down, says, yeah, what? I said, okay, it's Jamie. And there was a moment where he just froze. And then it was like, okay, let's try it.
And after filming, he showed his appreciation by sharing top billing with Jamie.
The movie is finished, and the phone rang. It was Jim Cameron, and he said, I went to Arnold and asked him if I could put your name above the title of the movie.
He says, you know, the movie wouldn't be what it is without her, and she's so amazing, and she deserves to be above the title.
So much effing money is spent on lawyers and agents for credits. It's a big business.
And I think that's a beautiful window into how his mind works. Very, very few people in Hollywood are like that.
It was a very moving moment for me. And that movie, of course, changed my life.
Another crucial task was picking the director of photography. Cameron went with Russell Carpenter, a relatively unknown talent whose biggest credit was Pet Sematary 2.
And Eddie Furlong was in that. And Eddie Furlong's people also mentioned my name to Jim. He wanted to do a film called Crowded Room. That picture went away because of some rights problems. So off I go to New Orleans to shoot this picture with John Woo. When I'm down in New Orleans, I get a call from Jim's producer, Stephanie Austin, and she says, Jim wants to talk to you about this next project. The only next project I see is this big Arnold Schwarzenegger film called True Lies. And I'm not putting my name and that project together in the same thing. I go to this meeting, and this is the picture he's talking about. You know, he never said, would you like this? Would you be interested in doing this? Never. You know, it was just like he just said, we'll be doing this. And then in Florida, we'd probably try this technique because it hasn't been done before, but I think it can work. Shake his hand, run to the phone booth, call my wife and said, I think I was just hired to do this big thing, you know.
An unconventional pick for the priciest film ever made. But Carpenter soon realized this was a career leap and crash course in endurance. On one of the first days, Cameron reviewed the daily footage and saw that Schwarzenegger's face was not well lit in the homecoming scene. He unleashed a tirade so harsh that Carpenter called his wife, warned her that he might be fired. Colleagues convinced him not to despair, saying, Cameron treats everyone like this.
He had a fierceness that went along with his commitment to making the film. And of course, I put up with it because my mantra was, I've got to have this credit. This is the biggest credit I'll ever get, you know. And then it's 20 years later, and the intensity is still there, but he seemed like, in a way, he seemed like a much looser person.
Filming True Lies kicked off in August 1993 and quickly earned its stripes as one of Hollywood's most chaotic and dangerous productions.
You tango?
Oh.
I said, this is your most dangerous stunt. And he knew exactly what I meant. He nailed it. He'd never done anything like that, but that's the beauty of Arnold. He doesn't care. He'll do it all.
Jamie Lee Curtis also embraced the madness.
It was all real people, real place, real time, real action. It was crazy.
Filming on Florida's 7 Mile Bridge, her character dangled from a burning limo's sunroof.
And it's a little weird to have a helicopter fly over your head and a guy like reaching his hand down and you're reaching up and grabbing and holding on, and he's pulling you, and then he lets go, and none of that is a special effect. None of that is like on a soundstage. None of it. Donna Keegan, my stunt woman, does the pull-out, the actual stunt, which is insane.
At the last second, Donna slides in, she gets in position, and the thing goes off the end of the bridge.
I then got wired up in the same rig that she was in. So it's like the shots of me going, were shot that day. It really was magical to be a part of something like that. To be able to be that person in that sequence was really, really, really exciting.
Perhaps the craziest stunt involved a jet fighter amidst Miami's skyscrapers.
John Bruno was a visual effects supervisor that I had worked with over the years. He was with me on The Abyss, and he came up with this crazy idea. We were kind of doing storyboards in the pre-production, and he said, why don't we put the jet on the building?
The crew used a filming crane on a construction crane, allowing them to shoot the jet from any angle. They even justified the crane's presence by writing terrorists hiding in an unfinished building into the script.
So then we had a real jet in the real lighting in the real city, and we can get a lot of the shots.
The end result was spectacular. Although the lawyers probably aged a decade convincing the insurance companies it was necessary to put Schwarzenegger in a mock airplane 300 feet in the air. Despite the on-screen chaos, the striptease scene stole the show.
Good.
And I, of course, had to do everything in my power not to laugh because the scene was just so hilarious.
There was no choreographer. We didn't talk about it. So when he says dance for me and she starts doing the little, just made me laugh because that's what she would dance.
Jamie and I had cooked up this whole thing where she does that fall and gets back up, and he didn't know about it. And he starts to get up to help her, and then he realizes he's got to still be in character because I haven't cut. And that's the take that's in the movie. You see him start to get up to help her, and then he sits back down.
What seemed like your typical Hollywood cocktail of playful intimacy and laughs had critics accusing Cameron of sexism and misogyny. Roger Ebert even called the scene
basically cruel and not very funny.
We respectfully disagree.
I'm telling you, the biggest laugh I have ever gotten in my life was from that.
Controversy didn't stop there. The portrayal of terrorists sparked outrage. The National Council on Islamic Affairs and the Committee on American-Arab Relations called for a boycott, labeling the film a pile of lies.
I'm sorry, Harry. I know this got to be painful.
Cameron's defense? The choice of nation was random, and he could have just as easily used IRA terrorists. Yet Fox was forced to add a disclaimer to the credits. As for the accusations from women, he stated that not all characters in films need to be paragons of political correctness.
That hurt, you...
However, after 9/11, Cameron shelved plans for a sequel.
It just wasn't funny anymore. I tried it. We worked on a script for a while. It just wasn't funny. And if you couldn't make it funny, it didn't seem worth it.
Only in 2023 would a True Lies reboot come out, featuring only Tom Arnold from the original cast.
Trust me, it'll go better without me.
Back to 1994. When the film originally hit the big screens, within a few months it grossed nearly $400 million despite protest and mixed reviews.
Like a phoenix rising from the dust of Last Action Hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger is back, stronger than ever. True Lies is true gold, claimed the #1 spot.
Variety aptly highlighted that the film was essentially 141 minutes of extravagant fodder for an enticing 3-minute trailer. But Jim and Arnold managed to go out with a bang, encapsulating the essence of 90s action comedies.
Next time, duck.
Considering True Lies was their last film collaboration, they left on a high note. Schwarzenegger would flex his muscles in movies for another decade before moving into politics, while Cameron would begin working on yet another most expensive film in history.
Hey,
we did our best to create a fun and informative video for you. If you think we succeeded, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It helps us out a lot.